Just a fascinating film to watch. And somebody told me that, or somebody says that, like, you know, the idea behind the film is that since it is, spoilers, a daydream, you know, or just a dream in general, that it's sort of like how the kid would see everything, like he would see everything through sort of these over-the-top stereotypes and stuff like that, because he's a kid and he doesn't know any better. But they build up in the opening that this kid is sort of like a little genius. I mean, like, he is really smart, and he is like this prodigy, so why wouldn't he know this stuff? Why wouldn't he put together that these stereotypes and these cliches that I don't even think would make sense to a kid, they barely made sense to an adult. I barely got half of the stereotypes they were doing. Why wouldn't he put together that this is not how things work, and this is not how people work and stuff like that? So, really horrible movie, but a very fascinating kind of horrible. It's almost worth renting just to see, you know, the strange horribleness that it delivers to you. Number 7. Neverending Story 3. I kind of shot myself in the foot with this because I clearly did the best one first during sequel month, and everyone sort of thought it was going to be like Secret Nim 2, and I kind of thought it was too, but Neverending Story 3 was so bizarrely horrible and intriguingly fascinating that it's just, you couldn't turn away. I mean, this is another one of those movies where it's like, rent the movie, because I couldn't tackle, you know, everything that was so strange and odd about that film. There's so many other scenes, there's so many other moments that don't add up or are so odd or are so strange, and they deserve to be seen. They deserve to, you know, be recognized and witnessed. It just turned out some really great jokes, and it turned out some great visuals. I still love, there's, you know, one or two gifs out there of my jaw dropping to the ground. I mean, I love that, and nobody sees it coming, it gets a big laugh. And yeah, like I said, a lot of it just comes from the fascination of how beautifully horrible that movie is. Especially, I mean, it's like I already did one bad sequel, the second one, and then to have one that's even worse and just goes even deeper into, you know, betraying what the original was. And I love the original. I think the original is just a great movie, and it's smart, and it's inventive, and it's got some great ideas, it's got some great fantasy, and it doesn't treat kids like little morons. It actually, you know, sort of respects them and challenges them while still being entertaining. And then you got 3, which does the exact opposite of everything I said. It does treat them like little morons, and it doesn't respect them, and but it does it in such a creative way. So it's hard to, it's hard not to enjoy it. So yeah, a lot of people were asking me to do, like, the show. I guess there was a show. I'm not, well, obviously the end scene's dead, but I'm not doing the show because I don't want to sit through all that. It just sounds like a pain. So, yeah, Neverending Story 3 was definitely a lot of fun. It was great fun watching the movie. It was great fun doing the review, too. It was very therapeutic smashing that DVD at the end, too. Number 6. Titanic, the other animated movie. You don't think you're gonna top that in terms of animated Titanic movies. You can't even believe there's a genre of animated Titanic movies, and yet, here's another one with actually better animation, and it's just worse. I mean, you can't comprehend that the one with the rapping dog is actually the better one. I mean, why throw money at this? How would you get money back for this? I don't comprehend. You know, and these choices, and the octopus comes and puts it back to get the captain makes it down alive, gets the little salute, and they all get married and live happily ever after. Did anyone even die in that movie? I don't know. Did even the bad guy die? You know, why is the Titanic movies keep putting bad guys in their movie? The iceberg is the bad guy, okay? You don't need a villain. It makes no sense. And, oh my god, and it was great to bring back the giant Jägermeister bottle, which I was actually going to eBay originally, but my brother's like, no, hold on to it, you might need it again. And sure enough, the second animated Titanic movie comes out, and yeah. Here's another reason, because a lot of people were like, there was a spin-off called, I forget what I think it's just called Tentacles or something like that. It sounds like a hentai, right? But everyone was like, why don't you do the spin-off movie? Why don't you do... I think we all know it's not going to be as good as the 2 animated Titanic movies. I can't top that. I can't top magic moonbeam tears that make dolphins talk, and jailer sharks that wear jailer outfits, and that really is one of those, you can't believe it exists. I mean, this is like an SNL sketch. And SNL did a sketch where it's like Tidy, the, you know, little Titanic that could, with Whoopi Goldberg as the iceberg. That movie got it right! They had the iceberg be the villain. And that was just a sketch! It wasn't even a real film, and even they were closer to a historic representation of the Titanic than these two pieces of shit. So, oh man. Sorry. Definitely fond memories of that one. Number 5. All the commercial specials. I know, again, it's kind of cheating because it's like 3 episodes in one, but I mean, let's face it. I mean, I know some of you probably look for whatever, some spliced version on YouTube where they're just all together, you know. And it was just a great idea. It was a fun idea. It's a weird comparison, but it reminds me of watching, like, the Jackass movies, because I love Jackass. I know it sounds really weird, but I really love, you know, watching the show and watching the movies. And every time it starts to come to the end, you're always sort of like, oh, like, you don't want to stop. You're really enjoying it. And, you know, it's funny with a lot of these sort of vignettes or these little jokes or these little sketches, oftentimes, you know, like, you would get bored because there's no story or nothing really pulling you through except exactly what it is, just funny little jokes. And sometimes that's all you need, and I think that's one of those instances where it's like just making fun of these commercials and looking at them and remembering them and laughing at how goofy they are. Sometimes that's really, you don't need too much else. I mean, that will pull it through. And that's exactly what happened with the commercials. And I think those are sort of like the highlights. And a lot of people were asking, why didn't you do another one? Why didn't you do another commercial? I think by the end of the 3rd one, again, we're just running out of ideas. And as you probably notice, when we're running out of ideas, we don't want to force it if we don't have to. It's nice to have a trilogy, you know, the commercial trilogy, whatever. And they're just so much fun. At the Jim Trokin, the guy who he was Lamar Prick, the one, like, if you want to see him piss his pants, just shout out, I have permission! He dies at that. I think that's like his favorite NC joke. Fucking Bubbles, everyone still quotes fucking Bubbles. I'm surprised nobody brings up Wonder Boner. I'm surprised that doesn't get as big a laugh. I thought that was gonna be like the one where everyone's like, hey, where's the Wonder Boner? They're gonna make drawings. Nobody did, you know, but fucking Bubbles, everybody remembers. So, again, it just comes down to, you know, when people say, like, you know, oh, I know what'll get a laugh, you really don't. You know, every time you think you do, you know, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. So, that's one of those instances where it's like, if I had to place money on, you know, which would be the bigger hit, fucking Bubbles or Wonder Boner, I'd probably say Wonder Boner. It's a weird job I have where I can talk about what would be better, fucking Bubbles or Wonder Boner, but either way, it was a good special. Number 4. A Simple Wish. Now, aside from this being a very curiously bad movie, and again, one of those really fascinating ones where you just sort of go, huh, yeah, what's the thought process behind that? It was very entertaining. It was an entertaining bad movie. It was very easy to make jokes at it. It was very bright and colorful, so at least it gave you something to look at, you know, during the horribleness. But let's just cut to exactly what made it so great. Mara Wilson. I mean, that was just... I think that's my favorite Nostalgia Critic joke ever. And it's how much, you know, she dedicated herself to doing this, and she just was... I mean, when she had to look really pissed, she looked really pissed. When she had to look, you know, really kind of slimy, like she's enjoying torturing me, she really got that down. When she had to do the evil, that evil laugh at the end, that, oh my god, that, I must have spent like hours and hours just editing that last couple minutes because I wanted to get that just right. I want to represent that performance because it was such a great performance. It was so funny. It was just the perfect pitch. And it was great showing these clips too of, you know, me when I was a little kid, I mean, just looking dorky as hell and stuff. Because I think I used to show sort of like older films like when I was younger, like either late high school or early college, and people were like, you know, well, this isn't that bad. You did pretty good when you were younger, you know, for that age and stuff. I was just like, nah, there's other stuff. I'll get it to you someday. And this was finally like the big reveal of it. And just the fact that she was down for that, and she made it so funny. And I remember even like at the very end where we have her eyes glow and have it turn red and stuff, you know, my brother came in and he's just like, you know, we can up this a little bit more. And he made her look like the devil, pretty much. And we were just, but is she gonna be okay? Let's try. And we sent her a clip of it. I was like, is this okay? And she's like, yeah, it's great, do it, this is gonna be so funny. So it's one of those great moments where not only can you get someone that just you never think you're gonna work with, it doesn't even cross your mind, you know, and you get her for like, you know, your dumb little show, but it's the fact that, you know, she turned in just this great performance, she had this unbelievable sense of humor, and it just made a great joke, and we saved it for the end, and I love the way it's revealed. I mean, there's no build-up, she's just kind of there, and nobody's seen her in years. And that's just so cool that just because of humor, just because of a joke, you know, that we can do this and we can actually get her acting, and she's so damn funny. I mean, so it was really great. That's my favorite Nostalgia Critic joke ever. Number 3. The Tom and Jerry movie. This is just one of those reviews, I don't know, I just have really good memories of it. I have good memories of making it, I have good memories of watching it. I loved Tom and Jerry growing up, as you all know, so I mean, it was great to really analyze what was wrong with this film. It sort of seemed like the perfect kind of length to it. It wasn't too long, it wasn't too short. You know, and some parts where people, you know, would probably complain it went too long, like the Shakespeare thing, actually a lot of people really liked. And it was sort of just this fun little love letter to Tom and Jerry as well, because I mean, I think it's another one of those comedy duos that just, not to make people think about, it's like, oh, it's just slapstick violence, whatever, it's cartoon, it's kid stuff, but really watch them. I mean, if you watch the expressions on their face, like before something hits them, I mean, it's just like that perfect, you know, feeling of content, you know, and happiness and stuff, and you just know it's gonna come crashing down when, you know, whatever smashes into them, and just how hard it smashes into